Muslims are set to begin celebrating Eid Ul-Adha, also known as the Festival of Sacrifice. This significant festival honors the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim, known as Abraham in Christianity and Judaism, to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command. According to Islamic tradition, Prophet Ibrahim received a divine message in a dream, instructing him to sacrifice his son Ismael. Ismail accepted his fate, but as Ibrahim was about to carry out the sacrifice, God intervened and provided a ram to sacrifice instead. Muslims worldwide commemorate this event by ritually sacrificing livestock. The sacrifice is obligatory for those who possess sufficient wealth beyond their basic needs. Let's explore the concept of sacrifice in other major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Hinduism. Judaism shares several historical and religious elements with Islam and Christianity. Rabbi Gary Summers from the Leo Baeck College in the UK notes that Jewish scriptures describe various sacrifices, each with specific rituals and timings. Currently, these sacrifices are not practiced because the specific locations. The Solomon's temple, where the sacrifices were traditionally performed, no longer exist, says Summers. We now remember these sacrifices through prayers. Rabbi Dr. Bradley Shevitz of the American Jewish University explains that animal sacrifices stopped after the Romans destroyed the Second Temple. Opinions differ on whether this prohibition is permanent or if it will be lifted with the coming of the Messiah. For Jews, the temple refers to the historic Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque currently stands. Jewish prayers often include hopes for the temple's reconstruction to resume animal sacrifices. Despite the general termination of animal sacrifices, some groups such as the Samaritans still perform sacrifices during Passover in Jerusalem. Others give financial donation equivalent to the value of a sacrificial animal. Christianity's Old Testament overlaps significantly with Jewish scriptures. Father Dr. Prashant Ribeiro from Dhaka's Catholic Church explained that Old Testament books, especially Leviticus and Deuteronomy, detail the practice of animal sacrifice often performed during morning or evening festivals. In ancient times, animal sacrifices were made for regret and forgiveness of sins, but this practice ended with the crucifixion of Jesus. Seen as the ultimate sacrifice, in Christian doctrine, Jesus is referred to as the Lamb of God. Although animal sacrifices are not part of Christian religious practices, vows or promises to God may involve various forms of sacrifices. Dr. Ribeiro notes that aside from Jewish connections, Christianity does not have a tradition of animal sacrifice for the Creator. There are no dietary restrictions against meat, and lamb is commonly eaten during Easter in many cultures, paralleling Jewish Passover tradition. However, unlike Judaism, Christianity does not practice animal sacrifice for religious purposes. The practice of animal sacrifice in Hinduism is controversial and varies widely. In certain regions of India and Bangladesh, animal sacrifice are part of religious ceremonies during festivals like Durga Puja and Kali Puja. Dr. Goshayabaran Chakravarti, Assistant Professor of Sanskrit at Chittagong University, highlights reference to animal sacrifice in ancient Hindu texts Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Puran. Ancient texts like the Rig Veda mention that the sacrificial animal gains freedom and is liberated from bondage. During the Vedic period, 1500 to 500 BCE, animal sacrifices were common, with the meat offered to deities and consumed in feasts. In modern India, opinions on animal sacrifice vary. Dr. Chakravarti mentions that some ancient temples still practice animal sacrifices, citing examples such as Dhakeshwari in Bangladesh and Tripura Sundari, Kamakhya, and Kali Ghat in India. Several groups have voluntarily stopped animal sacrifice in temples and support bans on the practice for religious purposes. Sri Lanka has banned Hindu animal sacrifices. Some in Nepal have voluntarily stopped sacrificial practices during festivals. Stay tuned for more information and subscribe our channel. Thank you.